Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern, the new and improved Modern. No Fury, no Beanstalk. Turns out Scam is still great. Sorry to tell you, it won some big event in Europe over the weekend. Whoops. But anyway, I played Grixis Control, old school style, on the channel last week with a little Snapcaster Mage Lightning Bolt Cryptic Command kind of action. And today, I'm playing a different take on Control. This is Jeskai Lotus Field. Lotus Field is a sick little land that has caused some trouble in Pioneer, got some cards banned, and it's shown up in other forums. And this is one of the versions it showed up in. This is a control deck that tries to abuse and leverage the power of Lotus Field. It's a land with hexproof. It enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice 2 lands, and then it taps for 3 mana of any color for the rest of the game after that. The trick here is, how do we mitigate the drawback of Lotus Field? Number 1, we have Flagstones of Trocare. When this dies, you search your graveyard for a plains and put it onto. I just named every game zone and they were all incorrect. You search your library for a plains and put it onto the battlefield. That way you get to kind of keep a land when the Lotus Field comes in. There's also Tail's End in the sideboard. Counter target activated or triggered ability. You can counter the ability that makes you sacrifice 2 lands. It's not really what this is for. You bring it in against decks like Cascade or Planeswalker Problems, but you can stifle your own trigger here. But the big interaction the deck is mostly built around is Blood Sun. In the deck is a 4 of. 2 and a black enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. All lands lose all abilities except mana abilities. And the cool thing about Lotus Field is these drawbacks of entering the battlefield tapped or sacrificing 2 lands are abilities. There is no designation within the Magic rules of a drawback. It's just an ability that's generally bad for you. Anything printed on a card is an ability of the card. Therefore, it loses hexproof, loses enters the battlefield tapped, and loses sacrifice 2 lands, and it still has tap add 3 of any color. It's kind of nutso with Blood Sun, which is an enchantment that cantrips on the way in, and it could mess with your opponents because Modern is a format built on the back of fetch lands and Urza Saga. You can't fetch anymore, and unlike with Blood Moon, you can't even tap those fetch lands for red anymore because it doesn't turn them into anything. They just lose their abilities. And the only ability they have is a non-mana ability. So get wrecked, fetch lands. Urza Saga just dies on the spot because it loses all of its Saga abilities, but it doesn't change its card type. So the game sees an object in play that is a Saga with more lore counters on it than it has chapters. And the game places that in the graveyard because that's how Sagas work. It's pretty cool when a spicy lock piece also enables the most busted part of your deck. And then from there, we just have big stuff to do with all our mana. Valakut Awakening, flip your hand around. You can comfortably tap exactly 1 Lotus Field to play Valakut Awakening, move cards around. Fable's a 3-drop. More Blood Suns are a 3-drop. Teferi untaps 2 lands in your end step. If you untap a Lotus Field among those 2 lands, you have way more mana than you're supposed to. Then we have all these cool 3 and 4 drops to power out ahead of schedule. And that's the deck. Lotus Field, Jeskai Control. Let's get into it. I'm on the draw in round 1. I've revealed my companion, Kahira. The only creatures in the deck are elementals. We get to play that one. I will keep this hand. It has a Lotus Field and some stuff to do with it. It's not going off with it in any capacity, but it is here. Suspending a Crashing Footfalls. That's a big window. This Teferi, hopefully, will do some work in that regard. A Rockran Triome can cycle for 3 mana at some point, if that's what I want to be doing with it. I think I just play the Hallowed Fountain here, tapped. The Seachrome Coast is basically the same as Hallowed Fountain, except it doesn't cost me 2 life to put into play after I sack 2 lands with Lotus Field. Ooh, Lose Focus. That's actually a great one to find here. That's a counter spell that if they try to shove some Rhinos onto this deck right now, I can get them. Cycling Lorien revealed. They searched for Island, or they searched for Hallowed Fountain, then played Island. Suspicious. Kind of hope they go for it right now. All right, they didn't. I actually think with this mana up, I have to take a turn off of my jamming. I'm just going to play Rockman Triumph tap. Because if I sack all my untapped mana sources and they end step a Rhino, like they're definitely doing, then I have to deal with that, and having a bunch of mana next turn doesn't fix it. I wish I had an untapped mana source. Now I'm getting punished for not leading on the Seachrome Coast, because if this was Hallowed Fountain, I could have shocked it in and replicated. Looks like I don't need to, but that's lucky. Can't count on that. I would love for them to main phase a Cascade here. They put mana in their pool, then untapped it. Okay, cool. They clearly didn't have Force of Negation last turn, or they would have used it. They have left up Mystical Dispute, unfortunately, which I get a huge blowout if they don't have, but I get blown out if they do have. They could also have Subtlety. But I have Supreme Verdict for next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to send my spell in here. Wow, we're just in there on Teferi. Bounce a Rhino. They can't bring the Cascade off Suspend at this point, and I'll play a Lotus Field and just eat up some lands. Okay, that was a messed up turn. They're going to be able to kill Teferi here, but it got rid of 3 out of the 4 Rhinos I was facing down while drawing a card. They just tried to fire Teferi in the upkeep. That doesn't work. They would need Ottawara to disrupt this. And actually now, because I didn't curve out into the Lotus Field perfectly, now the Seachrome Coast is bad in my hand. All right, I'm getting used to this deck now. I have made some errors, and I will have less mana than I'd like. And this is the last Crashing Footfalls in the deck. 2 of them are in exile. Or one's in exile, 2 in the graveyard. Here's this one. And I'm going to Supreme Verdict them into shit. They're going to have to beat me with Brazen Borrowers from here. Oh, if they ice one of my lands. Okay, it looks like they tried to ice Lotus Field. That makes sense. Because they tried to fire Teferi. They couldn't ice Lotus Field because it has hexproof. Bang. They should have iced my other land, though. This wouldn't have been possible. Oh, wait, this is my 3rd land. Yeah, okay, never mind. I didn't mess that up. I've been playing with the Citadel, the Hall of the Giants or whatever. Those ones come in tapped if they're your 3rd land. These ones can be your 3rd land. Right, that's just how cards work. Stick with me, folks. I swear I know a little bit about Magic. A Valakut Awakening can just be the land, which might be better here, because my hand is already full of gas. What am I even worried about happening here? They have like Furies and Subtleties and Brazen Borrowers left in their deck. I'm going to play the One Ring first, both because it is more powerful to have in play longer, and also I can double spell next turn if I play the Valakut Awakening as a land now. Right, they're going to Tishana's Tidebinder me. Or they're going to tap my ring in response to its protection ability. I'll still draw a card. Now they're going to bind it. Okay. All makes sense now. That was trickier than it needed to be. Like, I was definitely going to tap my ring anyway. They did not need to do all that. Okay. I have 6 mana now. I can kill their Tidebinder with Fire Ice and play a Fable, or I can just play 2 Fables. I'm at 20. I don't give a shit. My trigger did resolve. So this is 0 damage. Yep, all those tricks did not change that. Okay, Ring has no abilities, and Wandering Emperor. I don't need to do that. I'm just going to dump out my 2 Fables and hope they don't draw Fury right now and punish this line. Oh, right. That card's banned. That's the whole point of this thing. Never mind. LOL. Those of you who ran to the comments the first 2 times I said it, egg on your face. Wow, that's so sick. We don't have to play around Fury anymore. Literally what we're doing here. Okay, I don't even know what I'm worried about. Funny how that stuff gets ingrained and you have to just unlearn these stupid lessons. Okay, I will loot away the Sacred Foundry. I want to keep the Fire Ices and the Planeswalkers. I'll loot away the Steam Vents now off the second one. Still ended up with a land that I for sure don't need. I attack you with a bunch of goblins. I'm making mana. I'm pulling ahead, doing crazy stuff. And everything I can do here is an instant, except putting Kahira in my hand, which I don't care about, so I'll just pass here. Yeah, they just run out like a Subtlety as a creature. Sure, whatever. I'm going to fire the Tidebinder. This unlocks my ring. I'd like to draw a card, please. Did it. Guess if I just main phase that, I could have played a 3rd Fable. Nice. Okay. Wow. No Fury to be your second wave out of this deck. That was a low-key pretty big hit on rhinos. Bring in a bunch of stuff that stops Rhinoceri from arriving. You can stifle the Cascade trigger. You can counter the Rhino uncounterably. And, of course, good old Chalice of the Void, which Tishana's Tidebinder does blank if they have enough mana to put a Cascade spell in the stack. Chalice triggers, then they stifle the trigger and blank the Chalice. Like, that is a thing this deck can do now. Dress down doesn't matter. Blood Sun is important in my deck. Little Teferi's the nuts. Fire Ice doesn't do a lot. It kills Tidebinder, but it doesn't kill rhinos. Prismatic Ending can kill Tidebinder or a rhino. It's a lot of Valakut Awakenings. That is also a land which came up that game, but I think this is fine. Let's go. And I do have enough basics to Prismatic Ending a Blood Moon. That is a thing this deck can do. I'll keep my hand. It can interact with the first can of rhinos. That's all I want out of life. It can now interact with the second can of rhinos as well. If you're new here, rhinos come in cans. That's how this works. Yeah, Fury was also in the original build of this deck that was sent to me. And of course, Fury was the end game in this deck I'm playing against. It is really impressive how many decks Fury was in. Right, they're icing my land, that's fine. So I won't be able to interact with the first can of rhinos if they just untap and do it. However, I get to play Rockman Triumph for free here. So I wasn't going to do anything with that mana anyway. Yeah, if they just heads up it now with a Shardless Agent, that's good. If they go to my turn and try to Violent Outburst, I get to interact again. Sick. We're in there. Yeah, I'm just going to play Sacred Foundry tapped. Once again, Force and Negation will get the rhinos through. Okay, they're just going 3-2 mode. Beating me down. They tried to snipe a fetch land there, but my deck's not allowed to play those because of Blood Sun. Island Cycling Lorien revealed. Getting Xander's Lounge. Okay. They are a 5-color version. I have to imagine that Leyline Binding is in this deck, and that Blood Moon is not, based on their configuration. Valakut Awakening. I think I want to play that in land mode and try to get set up for a double spell next turn. Or I could play... No, I should play the Plains now. That way I could Tails End twice and beat a fight if I need to beat a fight. But now if they Cascade with counter backup, I can hit it twice. I got plenty of time to figure out this 3-2 beatdown situation. I just Solitude it at some point. Not a big deal. Okay, Valakut as a land. I wonder if they're playing Solitude. They do have a lot of white mana in this mana base. If they're just looking for an elemental to pitch. And we saw Ardent Plea in their deck in game 1. That would be a white card that supports Solitude. That's probably what's going on. You feel a little bit silly for not having a bunch of Fire Aces in my deck right now. Flagstones of Trocare. I could try to play a Fable right now. I think that's fine. It's a non-creature, non-planeswalker. It can't get subtletied. If they Mystical Dispute, I could pay, or I could just let it get countered and keep interaction up. Just force a negation. Okay, that works. Alrighty, I'll pass the turn. I think it's time to Solitude this Tidebinder, because the next hit puts me dead to a can of rhinos. But if they Tidebinder my Solitude trigger, I'm SOL. Ooh, that's tough. All right. Yeah, this little Delver of Secrets has actually done a lot of work here. Okay, I'll go to my turn. Another Valakut Awakening. I think I want to put Kahira in my hand, and that gives me an extra white card to pitch to Solitude. And I can play this land. All right, so I'm going to Solitude this thing, pitching Kahira, and then I can Teferi also if I need to. Exile Kahira. The primary use of that companion is just put it in your hand to be pitched. Okay, zap this. It worked. It's a miracle. Now if I untap, I'll feel pretty safe in the game. Nice. Okay. Shields are up, including Solitude, and now I have a Wandering Emperor. Do I even bother with Blood Sun? And it's a cantrip. It messes up fetch lands. I can still double Tails End. Or play Wandering Emperor. Yeah, I'm going to try to Blood Sun. We're in there. They could stifle this. Leyline Binding. Okay, that's fine. We dragged a removal spell out of their hand and cantripped on the way through. That's completely okay. Acceptable losses. We're getting a Violent Outburst. I'll stifle the Cascade trigger. Tails End. Bang. Okay. Well, this is what we played for. Do they have 2 Mystical Disputes? Ouch, I'm dead. Oh no, I have another Solitude. Okay, I'm not quite dead. They're down to 2 cards in their hand. They get a can of Rhinos. Let's look at their deck. Violent Outburst, Leyline Binding, Ardent Plea. Still haven't seen a Solitude with my eyes, though I do suspect it's in there. Speaking of, I'm going to exile my Prismatic Ending, because I feel like my Planeswalkers are how I take over this game. Oh, their last card was Subtlety. Got me good. All right. Yeah, if I had fought over the Tidebinder one turn earlier, that life total, I even set at 11. Now I'm dead to 1 can of Rhinos if I don't fight now. A little awkward. Okay. The Fire Ice is... just some number of that feels like it's probably reasonable. Blood Sun is mediocre in this matchup. It's still part of my deck, but I think having an extra 2 ways to interact with a small creature, like the Tidebinder that did 12 damage to me that game, makes sense. Okay, I've got 2 lands here. Fire, Ice. I can't cast Ice. I can cast Fire. I would need to find a 3rd land pretty quick. I'm going to mulligan this. Here we go. Teferi Time Raveler. Keep. I'm going to bottom 1 of the Fire Ices. My plan is to use this ice to tempo them on turn 2. I'll tap their land at the start of their turn, and then hope that allows me to Teferi on turn 3. Forest is great news, because that means if they play a different land, I can ice that land, because Forest does not counter Teferi, last I heard. I'm not going to ice in the upkeep. I'll see what land they actually play for the turn. If it's a fetch land, they'll be able to hold up their interaction anyway. Shit. Please fetch. I don't know why you would, but do it anyway. Okay. I could ice now. I could play Otawara. That's the turn. Ice on their turn. I think I want to ice on their turn, because this is about dancing around the important spells in the game. Okay, if they ice me, that's actually pretty cool. Oh no, Xander's Lounge, that's fine. Ooh, they tapped out. Oh, that just taps them out. Okay. I mean, they could Subtlety this, but now I didn't even have to ice their thing because they fetched a tap land. Or some negation, pitching Subtlety. Okay, makes sense to answer it forever. They're cycling Lorien Revealed. I can play Fable plus make Lotus Petal or Lotus Field next turn. I got Supreme Verdicts to Fairies removal in my deck. If they do have land plus... Well, I know they have land, they just cycled for it. But if they have a Cascade here, black in the pool, they change their mind. This looks like a main phase Violent Outburst. Okay, yep. They've learned my deck has counterspells in it. Dispute, Plains, Binding, Beseiju. Revealed off that. Lose focus right on time. It will actually be right on time to answer their stuff next turn. Lotus Field. Sacrifice the Otawara. I can't imagine this deck's going to Blood Moon me. Seems like such a disaster for them. I guess it could happen. And is there any card in my deck that is not castable if I keep Basic Island alongside this? Alright, I am going to keep the Basic Island, just overabundance of safety here. Cycling Lorien Revealed again. We got a Steam Vents, zapped it in. I'm going to take my 8. Okay, they Leyline Binded now. Took my Fable, okay. My Ring is the more important thing here. Okay, that doesn't matter because I can make the Treasure, and now they're tapped out. They would have to have Force Blue card to stop my Ring from arriving. Okay, maybe don't have Force Blue card. Ring. We're in there. Draw. Valakut has a land. And pass. I'm not taking damage this turn, but I do have to figure out 4 Rhinos. That's so many Rhinos. Basically Supreme Verdict or bust at this point. Okay, take 1 in my upkeep. Draw for turn. Spire Bluff Canal that is not currently useful. Draw with the Ring. They could bind this. I guess killing the Tidebinder, it doesn't matter because I still lose my trigger. Oh, that's too many lands. Thinking about the best way to survive this turn, I think it involved the basic Plains and Prismatic Ending. And then they attack me for 12 next turn. My Ring's at 2. Shit. Okay, so I actually have to ice a Rhino. And then I'm at 1. I think I'm in trouble, team. Ice a Rhino. Through Tail's End. You love to see it after the Rhino's already in play. I could stifle this. What are they going to do here? Solitude? Oh, I could stifle the Solitude ETB trigger as well. I can also lose focus for 4. I can replicate it once. I should absorb the damage here, just give myself a little better buffer against my ring. I can also counter my ring damage trigger in my upkeep. Okay, I take 2, I go to 3. Draw for turn, I need a Supreme Verdict. Solitude is not the worst card I've ever seen. I'm going to draw with the ring. Now I can stifle their stifle on a Tidebinder. I can also just lose focus it, but then I can't play Solitude. Does Solitude even help here? Not really. All right, well, I have to let this thing resolve. Then I Tails End the trigger, and I have to find Supreme Verdict and a Tails End. Prismatic Ending, Solitude. Yeah, the Lotus Field and Spirebluff Canal coming into play tapped is gonna end me here. I can Prismatic Ending 2 of these, but then I'm 1 mana short to Valakut Awakening and find another white card for Solitude. I can't get Kahira going. Okay. GG's opponent. Rhino's still a powerful deck. On to the next round. If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event. I'm going to draw in round 2 with a 1-lander that I will be mulling. Oh no, not like this. Straight to 5. Okay, this is a 2-lander. I'll keep it. Teferi Hero is a long way off from being useful. And probably have to send the Solitude here, because Ending and Ice are how I navigate the early turns. And then Fable is the thing that gets me out of this, if anything will. Oh good, it's Tron. I could Prismatic Ending that, and they don't get their draw or their fixing off it. I think it's better to get my tap land into play, and then I can ice a land on turn 2, so they can't Tron me on turn 3. I can't get the full mana out of Tron on turn 3. Obviously, they just go like Tron land, Sylvan scrying off of the star or the sphere. I could have slowed that down with the ending, but I still gotta make some development here. There's Tower plus Star. And we are in a situation where Blood Sun is much worse than Blood Moon, because all the Tron lands do is make mana. Alright, I am going to Ending it this time, and hope they don't just natural Tron me. There's a Saga. Okay, alright, Blood Sun, what's up, buddy? Light him up. Oblivion Stone, okay. That's a later problem. But right now, I'll take this cantripping Stone Rain. Blood Sun dies, or Urza Saga dies immediately. And if they find Tron, they're still just fine here. But I've disrupted them twice, which is pretty good. Game 1 out of a control deck. A redundant Tron land. And no spell. I love that for me. I'm going to play Fable this turn. O-Stone takes 5 mana to pop. So I'll get a little bit of time here. My fetches come into play untapped without dealing damage, because that's how Blood Sun interacts with fetch lands. Haywire Might. Okay. If they ever have green mana, they can remove my Blood Sun. Oh, bummer. If only I had a second Blood Sun in my hand. I am going to discard the Fire, Ice, and the Supreme Verdict here, because I don't think those are where I want to be in the matchup. I would like to try to start winning it, if I can. I'm going to attack first. They'll block, pop, and then I can play another one. Or I could wait for the O-Stone, because they're going to have to pop that here anyway. Okay, they are exiling my Fable. Not worried about Blood Sun. That is probably correct. I'm going to play another Blood Sun. I see the Oblivion Stone. I know it's like there, but this is a cantrip, and I would like to get something going. Rockern Triumph comes into play untapped, and then I can ice their Boseiju. And I am more worried about green mana than I am about them drawing the mine and suddenly having Tron here. Because they would have to just miracle that. And if it's their day, it's their day. Okay, it was not their day. Karn the Great Creator, that turns off my treasure. They grab their Liquid Melt Coating. I'm going to attack my lands. That's my job. Attack Karn. And do I want to play the Valakut land? I can Ottawar a Karn, if that's a thing I want to do. I don't really want to do that, though. I want Karn to die. All right, yeah, I'm just going to hang back. Because if they play Coating, then they don't have O-Stone up. If they O-Stone, that kills Karn and Coating. I don't really mind if they just kill one of my lands at random. I'll just shove Solitude in over the top and start bashing. Like, this is the spot where I could bounce Karn, but I don't actually want that to reset its loyalty. I would rather attack it with my creatures, and then they don't have it anymore. That's gone. Oh, they played a creature. That's so sick. So Solitude even has a target. They can exile one of my Blood Suns if they want on the way out. I don't care. The O-Stone is online at this point, though I could bounce it with Otawara while they're tapped out. Exiling one of the Suns, okay. My Suns, my beautiful Suns. Oh, sick, I drew Lose Focus. I was about to say, I don't know if I need to play around Dismember here or not, but now I'm just not gonna. Okay, these 3 treasures are gonna die to Oblivion Stone anyway. I think I should use them to put Kahira in my hand. And then, do I want this Valakut Awakening? I feel like all the cards in my hand are actually good. So I am going to play the Stoneforge, and that plays Solitude with the mana that I have now. And I'm not going to try to do Otawara tricks. They're taking 5 a turn right now. They found the mine. Uh-oh. It took 8 turns, but the Tron miracles kicked in. Tron luck. I can lose focus something for 6 here. Could have been more if I didn't crack my treasures, but I just think it's correct to do that. Yeah, I'll just force the action now. Boop. There they go. And now I'm going to play Otawara because that gives me another 2 points of lose focus mana. And they have Tron, big Tron, double tower. All right, well, they have to get super greedy and terrible if I'm going to clip anything with anything at this point. Oh, that qualifies. They have 4 mana available, and I can go deep. Yeah, sick. Cast with Replicate. 1, 2, 3. Blue, 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 blue. Bang. They are on 0 cards in their hand, but this is Tron. Every card in their deck is a banger. Pretty sick that my mana leak effect in my deck is still useful on turn 9 against Tron when they have 6 Tron lands in play. All right, we ball. 1 ring. Draw. I have an island. White, red, blue. I'm going to get rid of the Oblivion Stone while I can. I will have to win this game with permanence at some point. They're in top deck mode. If they just have Karn, good job. If they miss, good job me. Okay, Ugin doesn't do much here. They can like lightning bolt themselves to take 3 or to put loyalty on it. That rules. I mean, I would. It's worth doing. Yep, they agreed. Yep, Tron doing Tron stuff over there. Okay, I can't play Kahira because that just dies to the bolt. There are not 8 colors in Magic for me to Prismatic, ending with, I'm just going to play my Plains and pass, and then try to pressure Ugin with Solitude, even though that's not a great plan. But it's at least one that doesn't involve Ugin ultimating next turn. Now they can bolt me. Oh, stop doing stuff. Play a creature. Sylvan Scrying, okay. Urza's Saga is pretty good. There are 2 more Blood Suns in my deck, and I have the ring drawing lots of cards every turn. Here's Solitude. No target. Take 2 from the ring, draw for turn. Alright, Teferi answers the Saga briefly. Blue, white, colorless. Bounce the Saga. Lotus Field. Can exile, or sacrifice Otawara and Plains. And then 1, 2, 3. I need a white in here somewhere. 1, 2, 3. Kahira. Now I just have to push. Attack Ugin. I went from 0 things to 3 things worth lightning bolting. And gained 4 life. That's also important. Ugin will probably bolt the Solitude here. Yep, Solitude's dead. Oh, come on, you have a spell too. The 1 ring. Great. Tron luck never fails. Okay, they draw a card from that. Oh, and it was also a spell. Fuck me. My goodness. Okay. Don't they play any lands in their deck? Can they draw one of those? Okay, drawing for my turn. Valakut Awakening. Activate the ring. Big money. Flagstones of Trocare. Fire Ice. Well, I mean, this is what Valakut Awakening's in the deck for, right? 1, 2, 3. Awaken. I'm going to put Field. Vents, flagstones, reawaken. Do I want the other field? Blood Sun is one of my best draws this turn anyway. I kind of would like that. Prismatic Ending answers their ring. Ice can tap their Worm Coil. I don't want the backup ring. This is 2, 3, 7 new cards. Okay, let me see them. I found a new Teferi. Oh, Wandering Emperor is actually good. I did not come up with a Blood Sun, which is a card I wanted most. I have access to 7 mana right now. I'll plus this Teferi, that's free. And then I think I want to bounce Wormcoil and exile their ring with my 7 mana, which means I have to shock in Sacred Foundry. And then blue, or can this be done? Because I need 4 unique colors in the One Ring. White, blue, black, red, but then I don't have enough for Teferi. I can tap Wormcoil and exile it, then attack Ugin. But then they get another turn with the ring. Yeah, I'm just 1 color short on the Teferi line that I want to take. Okay, well then. I will not play around what I can. Ice the Wormcoil. Draw Supreme Verdict. White, colorless. Wandering Emperor. Exile target tapped creature. Attack Ugin. And then in my end step, I discard Supreme Verdict, probably. And I have plus little Teferi if they make a construct in their main phase or anything like that. Play like a expedition map. They minus Ugin. Okay, I mean, that puts it into kind of killable distance. Another Wormcoil, sick. They've got a lot of those, it seems. O-Stone, okay. I gotta answer their ring this turn, which starts by tapping my ring. Let's go nuts here. There's a Blood Sun. That's great. 1, 2, 3. Let's start with Blood Sun. They have to make their construct in response if they want one. There it is. And Blood Sun kills the Saga. I draw a card. I wonder if I can win this game without decking. Lotus Field is here. Okay, now I have to exile the ring and take the pressure off everything else. 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. If I make white here, that casts Prismatic Ending. If I make green here, so green, white, red, blue, exile the ring with Prismatic Ending. And then Teferi is going to bounce Wormcoil Engine. And I'm going to fire Ugin while the shields are down. Oh, that Teferi was such a good draw, but Ugin is a bigger problem right now. Kill that. And nothing left to do with my mana here. I have to discard 3 cards. I think the tap lands are all pretty safe. They're putting a fake counter on their construct token. Might as well, you got the mana. Alrighty, here we are. They got a 2-2. I know they're holding a Wormcoil Engine. I'm not sure how many win conditions are actually left in my deck. Big Teferi still in my deck, who can go into the loop mode if I can draw him before I'm out of cards to play. They starred, they mined. 2 cards left, one of them's Wormcoil. There's the Wormcoil. They re-ringed. Hate that for me. I'm just about out of Prismatic Endings. There's 1 left in here. My Infinite Turn spell is in my sideboard, where it's not currently of use to me. I go to 5 off my ring trigger. Dress down, not helpful. Plus Teferi. If I draw 5 here, does that even benefit me? Or does that kill me immediately? Or draw 6? Let's find out. I'm drawing 6. I've identified Big Teferi as the way I can win this game, and he is still not forthcoming. Lotus Field, little Teferi time, make white, blue, little Teferi, keep the new one, bounce the Wormcoil. I can dress down the construct. There's Prismatic Ending. I mean, that's good. Red, blue, green. Prismatic Ending, your ring. Play a new one of my own, since I'm actually dead to my ring at this point. I would like to keep the new one. And then 1, 2, 3, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And I guess I pass the turn from here, having to discard the 2 lands in my hand. I'm going to stop drawing cards, because I'm not sure I can actually win the game. Okay, goodbye all my permanents. It was nice to know you. What? 9 minus 2 is 7. What's the problem here? Oh, that's my deck. I have 10 cards in my hand. All right, discard Rock and Triumph. I'm also at 11 minutes on my clock, and it's game 1. Ancient Stirrings. Wormcoil. Karn Lib. Exiling my ring. I don't even want a card off that. It's gone. You got me. Dress down in the end step. I don't need to Solitude in my main phase, so I'm not worried about that. Draw. Oh, big HOD. You know me. Okay, this is where we were trying to get to, I guess. Karn -3 is a big problem, though. I have to deal with that first. All right. Black, colorless, Fable, or red. Just saying random colors now. Clearly losing my faculties. Red, colorless, Fable. I'm gonna have to Solitude the Worm Coil and then get Teferi going. I think I'm too low on cards in my deck for Teferi to win, though. I can't get to ultimate. I mean, Teferi can minus himself indefinitely, and that doesn't deck, but that's better when you have the emblem, when he starts doing that. Exiling a card from my hand. Okay, you can have another One Ring. I'm done with those. They've got one card in hand. I don't want to give them 6 additional life because I have to give them 6 here. I can make them pay a lot more for a spell, but they have so much mana. They have 3 towers in play. Sylvan Scrying, okay. I am holding the last Blood Sun. Beseju, sure. I will decline the activation of that, I'm quite certain. Okay, I'm just going to say no to both of these. I can't afford to be anywhere else in my deck than where I am. Attack Karn Liberated with my 7 power worth of things. Exactly the correct amount here. I'm actually really close to just twinning him out here with the 2 Fables. So Teferi, 5 loyalty, 4 cards, 6 loyalty, 3 cards. I can do this a couple times. Draw and play my land. If they're able to destroy Teferi, I basically lose on the spot. So I have so much mana. I can Splinter Twin them from 23 with the 2 Fables, as long as I'm not dead before then. But they're holding Beseju, so they already thought of that. I'm more worried about the clock than my opponent at this point. This game's been awesome. Sylvan Scrying, getting basic forest, or like out of cool lands to search for. Besejuing one of those. Okay, I'm going to decline the search. No thank you. Guess I could have looked at what cards are left in my deck. Okay, I am not going to flash in Solitude, because I'm already locked into Teferi looping myself to stay alive anyway. That I'd rather be able to answer a Worm Coil. Okay, if I Blood Sun, there's 3 cards left. If I Teferi, there's 2 cards left. I'm gonna Blood Sun. Draw, Teferi, draw, Valakut Awakening. I will not be playing that. Okay, sweet. If they can kill Teferi, they win. If they can't kill Teferi, I think I'm in a dominating position here. Right, Teferi, go tuck yourself. Put target permanent into its owner's deck, 3 from the bottom. Reflection, copy Solitude, just does more damage. That's all I care about at this point. Attack with all my creatures. I don't know if I could resolve the Replicate in 7 minutes, but they're definitely not getting a card through my Lose Focus right now. I have way more blue than they have Tron lands. And they're dead on board. KGC. They have 1 card in their hand. Alright, fuck. I don't want to have to figure out how to resolve this. Okay, I guess I have to, though. This Replicate 1, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 22. They have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 12, 13, 14. Okay. Cast with Replicate. Replicate 14 times. Oh, yeah. Nice Tron deck, weirdo. Okay, now I just attack for lethal. The 1 card in my deck. Oh, yeah, moral victory. I'm definitely going to time out in the subsequent games here, but that's how you beat Tron with a control deck. Get lost. Destroy target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Their deck has some important of those. Veto's important. Crumble to dust, literally, for this matchup. Dress down's fine here, but I got other answers, too. Sagas. I actually think Teferi's super mid. I don't want to get into the tempo game plan that I was just forced into that game. Big Teferi is the guy. That's all I want in the world. Supreme Verdict can go away. Prismatic Ending was great that game. Just answering 1 rings left and right. Valakut Awakening, that draw 7 in the mid game was nuts. Blood Sun was great. Fable was great. Fire Ice is probably where my trims are at this point. Okay, I'm prepared to time out, but let's play this game. Wear Tear's probably supposed to be in the deck too. Just kind of playing fast. Yeah, Wear Tear killing just literally anything plus an Urza Saga is GG. Well, I have my combo. I'm going to keep. I can even Doben's Veto something on the way through. If I draw a third land that is also a red source, then I get some action on the Blood Sun into the Lotus Fields. Search for a tower. Okay, no such luck on the red source yet. 2 counter spells in my hand if they try to do anything this turn. I will counter a Sylvan Scrying, by the way. Will not counter a Chromatic Sphere. Lose focus on that. The veto can get anything ever. The lose focus is great on curve like that. These are not... That's not a red source, so I'm not going to rock with it. Grab a rocker and try them out of the deck, and just pass. Okay, they have a turn open right now. Hopefully I just kept them off Tron. We'll see what happens. Oh, they found Tron. Do they have a KGC? They have a Sphere. They have a Rebuy. They have an O-Stone. And I have a turn. Cool. Red, Blood Sun. Play Lotus Field. And pass. I think holding up Doben's Veto is the most important thing I can do here. They have roughly infinite mana. Though not actually infinite, because Loose Focus is guarding my deck. Checkmate, nerd. Doben's Veto that. I tapped those backwards. I should have at least bluffed. I have more blue mana available. Now they can just cast whatever. Haywire Might. Yeah, the lack of my ability to actually do anything here stinks a lot. I feel like I got a lot going on, but the O-Stone just hard locking most of my action. They're exiling my Fable in the end step. That card selection would have been nice for me. But if they're doing that, I guess that doesn't really mean anything. Well, Squirm Coil. Yo, Big Solitude. I'm just going to keep pushing permanents into play and hope that they have to commit their O-Stone at some point. Like, is this good enough? No, they'll probably fake counter their Worm Coil. Oh, they didn't. They would rather protect their Worm Coil from exile-based removal than actually... I'll just take 6 here. Like, that's fine. And if they have to... Alright, they did not O-Stone, so I'm going to get the Fable selection here. Dump 2 lands. Find 2 more lands. I found a Get Lost. I can attack. At what point are you happy enough to pop your O-Stone? I might have to commit my Solitude to get them to do it. Just got to play this so fast. 4 minutes on my clock. They're at 24. Can't take too many hits from Worm Coil, even if I believe it's strategically correct. It's just not going to work with the time. Backup Worm Coil. Good shit. All right, wait. 1, 2. Get Solitude in here. They've been waiting for this moment. And I actually am just going to let them do this. Even though I could get lost the Worm Coil, because I need to get lost the second Worm Coil here, and then try to find a stabilizing force versus what everything else they got going on. Okay, I'm going to get that lost. They have no cards in their hand, but they do have a board full of worms to my nothing. I boarded out most of my removal. What even is my plan here? Let's draw some cards and figure it out. All right, Blood Sun is a cantrip. I'm going to start there. I'm going to Valakut Awakening all my cards away. This is a draw 3. And Prismatic Ending is a start, I guess. Kill one of the lifelink worms. And I'm going to take a big crunch here, and they get to explore twice. That sucks. I should probably concede and try to win game 3 in 3 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna just try to give myself a chance to win this game. The Wear Tears definitely should have been in the whole time. Fire Ice is out. Teferi does bounce worm tokens if they're on this Worm Coil, slow things down, waste 3 minutes plan, which is a good plan for them. I'm certainly not faulting them for anything. Rest in Peace does stop Worm Coil from triggering. So does Tail's End, though, which is already in my deck. So does Dress Down. I don't think Teferi and Supreme Verdict are the way. Okay, I'm just going to try this, and I got 3 minutes to win with a control deck against Tron. Got a mulligan here. Hand doesn't do anything. Keep, because my hand does anything. Bottom the Solitude. I'm going to be F6ing like a maniac here. Definitely Prismatic Ending that. Sacred Foundry tapped. Prismatic Ending. And pass. Pass. I drew the third land for Blood Sun. Blood Sun will cantrip. Then maybe get me into the One Ring. Or do that. And the Blood Sun is down early enough that besieging it is actually a huge cost for them. It's also a huge cost for them not to do it. And if I have One Ring in my hand, or a Lotus Field in my hand, they definitely want to besiege you that. But if I don't, then they don't. I guess if they have Saga, they want to besiege you it. Scrying. Found a tower. There's the tower. Ring. Draw. Fable. Lotus Field. Sure, they're happy with their decision to destroy my thing. Not Tron. Is Karn. They grabbed an expedition map. All right. Tron is coming next turn. Flagstones. Red. Fable. I'm going to hold up Wear Tear. Map. Crack the map, leaving tower up, certainly. There's no priority where I can destroy the map there. I hope they wish for some dumb thing out of Karn that doesn't actually stabilize against my removal spell. At this point, I basically have to hope that they mess up, or that they take 10 minutes to figure it out. Okay, they are wishing with Karn. If they have, like, Sky Sovereign, Walking Ballista, okay. That one is fine, I guess. Are they just going to kill my homie? Is there any reason not to do this now? I guess if I attack... Yeah, if I just zap that, I lose. Alright, so I'm going to go to my turn at least and try to get some action out of the Fable. Discard the lands. And there's a Solitude. I wish this was good, but it's not. Okay. Attack Karn. Yeah, they're just pinging my thing right now before I even get a treasure. That's fair. I'm going to play the land and pass. I think I'm just going to need a lot of mana to apply pressure and counter their spells here. Saga. Okay. I now have 2 targets for Wear Tear. I hope they put a better artifact into play this turn, though. I don't really want to kill a Chromatic Star with this. Karn Liberated. Well, Tovin. Let's veto that. Hope they don't have Veil of Summer. They did not. Want to animate my One Ring for me? That would be sweet. Okay, they drew a card. Karn plussed on nothing. They did not play an artifact. That was not useful. I'm going to hold on to Wear Tear. I have hope. Maybe I should not have hope. Okay, here in my hand, and yeah, I just have to tear this. As if they make a construct that just wastes time, and time is my most precious resource. I have 1 minute here. I'm not going to win this game in a minute, but I'm going to try to play it well up to that point. A lot of mana in the pool. Dovin's veto that. Expedition map. They can tutor for Saga and play that. No, they can make a blocker. That's not going to save them. All right, y'all. I'm going to show you the game-winning line, and then I'm going to time out probably. Wait. 1, 2. Solitude. Exile your map, which you can't even use. Copy Solitude. Big hasty homie. None. Attack Karn, who dies. Unlocking my ring. Draw 2 cards. Pass. I did not make my land drop because that's just a trigger that wastes time. It is not strictly correct to F6 here, but I am going to do it. Yeah, now they have 1 card in hand facing down Teferi plus the One Ring. Yeah, other than the clock, I'm winning this game. And put that on the scoreboard for life. Blood Sun, Lotus Field, blue, white, colorless, Teferi. Look at this shit. Lose focus in my hand with infinite mana to use it. Yep, and we time out with overwhelming advantage. And that's okay. Like, I spent a lot of time figuring it out in game 1. But, alright, I will... Yep, Solitude that. I get to keep the loose focus in my hand. Valakut Awakening can clear these cards I don't care about. Teferi's going. Yeah, this is my game. Put it on the scoreboard of life, but not on the scoreboard of Magic Online. On to the next round. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic Player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop. I'm on the draw in round 3. This hand is super slow. I'm going to keep it, though. If I'm going to keep a slow hand, curving Blood Sun into One Ring is what I want to be doing. And obviously, turn 1, Ravioli. I'll play this Rockrin Triumph and hope to draw a Wear Tear or Prismatic Ending next turn. Alright, please don't steal one of my Teferis. They took a lose focus. That card was not going to be good here. Fable. Okay. I've heard that card's good. Wandering Emperor. Maybe someday. Right, Sacred Foundry tapped and basically brace for concession at this point. I'm going to have to outgrind this massive early advantage with the One Ring plus my top end. I guess this will be a fun stress test to if Blood Sun can lock out a fetch land mana base, and then if the One Ring can solo overwhelming bullshit. Alright, Thoughtseize. They can't take both of my One Rings. That Croaks in the graveyard's a little spooky. They took one of the rings. Big beats. Ragavan flips. A land. It was Lotus Field. Didn't really want that anyway. I'd rather answer Ragavan this turn than do anything else. I mean, the Lotus Field would have been cool with the Blood Sun someday. Fetch land, disappointing, after they've seen that I have Blood Sun. Oh, sick. Well, that's even better. I will simply answer Ragavan this turn, and then hope that the ring can do anything next turn. Orcish Bowmaster's in the end step. Okay, well, now Fire has 2 targets. I should actually do this on their turn, because if they do have a scam spell, I'd rather they don't get to attack with their bigger Ragavan or Bowmaster on that turn. Right, in combat, Fire, Rag, and Bowmaster. They can Croaks me this turn, if nothing else. Yeah, this is a bloodbath. This is not anything to do with anything other than Modern is not a format you can fart around for 3 turns on the draw anymore. It hasn't been for many years. But once in a while, you just have to get shit murdered to remind yourself of that. I guess if I draw Supreme Verdict here, I could still play the game. Discarding Blood Sun. Easily the worst card in my hand. This does target. Oh, each opponent. Nope, doesn't target. Great. Love Croxa. Okay, One Ring. Let's try to get something happening here. Draw. Blood Sun. Okay, so if they attack with Croxa to get me to discard a card, then Wandering Emperor can exile it. I'll end up at 9 after my ring, discarding the Blood Sun here. Maybe I discard Valakut Awakening because I already have the ring going, and Blood Sun is how I high roll out of this situation. Well, now they can have my Valakut Awakening out of Voidwalker. Alright, well, that is still the card I'm discarding. Go ahead, all yours. Okay, so if the ring draws a Lotus Field, I can exile Croxa and still take 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 next turn. No, no love. Oh, well, we did get there. I'll draw some cards. And they have Bowmaster. Fuck me. Alright, well, that's fine. This was a bloodbath anyway, and they could copy Bowmaster with their creature. Alright, cool, cool. Nice. Playing against Scam. I was promised this would never happen again. Rest in Peace coming in, get lost. Just more cheap interaction. Wear Tear can kill Fables and possible Blood Moons. I don't know that's how I want to play this game. Teferi is pretty mid. Dress Down is also kind of mid. Ring's good, Verdict's good, the Planeswalkers, these Planeswalkers are good, Removal's good. In Ragavan Talzan counters Ragavan or like a trigger off of a Fable. Valakut Awakening seems super dangerous against the Bowmaster deck. Maybe I should not play that card. Or at least go lower on it, but I can always play it as a land, which has come up many times so far in the league. If I got 2 of these Awakenings, I can get back. I can put a Wear Tear in. That seems so bad, though. Is that how I want to answer a Fable? I don't even care about Blood Moon. I'm a Fable deck, too. And not saying I don't care about Blood Moon is aggressive, but it's not lights out. Maybe I want a Dress Down and a Wear Tear. I still think Dress Down is mid, but if I can just catch a Bowmaster or a Grief with it, that might be reasonable. Okay. I'll call it this. Now that I know I'm against Scam, I can make better mulligan decisions. Lotus Field costing me a mulligan here. If that was just a normal land, I would keep, but I am going to mull it. Here we go. Some Solitudes, Awakening, 3 lands, Blood Sun. I'm going to keep this, and I think I bottom. It's either the second Solitude or the Blood Sun, because I could put Kahira in my hand to Solitude with in an emergency. And the Sun is my high roll. But I do have 2 lands to play field with. I don't like the Valakut Awakening as a land they can Thoughtseize. Alright, I'm going to bottom the Sun. And just keep Solitude white card available. I can hold up Lotus Focus on turn 2 if I'm not already dead by then. Oof. Okay, I could try to Solitude this thing right now. My hand basically becomes nothing, but they can't scam it. Okay, I'm gonna let it happen. I'm sure glad they left Grief in the format, though. Yeah, coming right back. It's not dead after all. Here's the secret. I never thought it was. Taking both Solitudes over the counter spells, so they are trying to get it done with Grief here. Having a someday removal spell is some comfort. I could exile the Wicked Roll and just make Grief smaller. That does take a turn off the clock. Actually, 2 turns. It's not how I want to do that. It is available if I want it, though. I play the Stoneforge, Valakut tapped. Are they going to end step Bowmaster, challenge my counterspell, and then play a Fable? Nope. Not quite. Thoughtseize, huh? Well, it resolves, I guess. They're still doing the Grief beats here. Down to 12. It's working. I will let this resolve because that deals 2 damage to them, where countering it does not. Oh, okay. Well, if they're holding another scam spell and Grief just comes back here, I'm in trouble. Okay. I'm at 11. The board is clear. They have Thoughtseize the hell out of me. Whatever's in their hand is going to work. Yep. Just sitting on that one. Here I am, just showing up a turn behind. I'll still take it, though. Like, there are worse draws in the deck. They get the first selection, the first attack. I am Hellbent, though, which makes Griefs and Thoughtseizes worse for them. And they just discarded a Thoughtseize to their Fable. They did have one. There's no dead cards when Fable's around. Shocked in their 4th Blood Crypt, Lightning Bolt, and Easy Peasy from Empty. Yuck. They certainly feel scammed. I will loot this away. Can I have the other Supreme Verdict? Oh, Big T. Well, Big T would be cool if I could cast him, which I can't. It's going to put Key here in my hand and wait to die. We can start copying Seasoned Pyromancer next turn, which is not beatable. I have to draw my other Supreme Verdict right now, basically. I guess a One Ring would buy me a turn. All right, that's not it. And I'm dead. Okay, just run the hell over by scam. No surprise there. I started this league back in the deck tech by saying Modern's changed, they banned some cards. Grief is still legal for impossible to understand reasons. And guess what? Scam has not gone anywhere. It's still winning tournaments. It's still the floor of tear apart your opponent's hand before they get a chance to do anything with your deck with 4 Grief, 8 or 4 Thoughtseize, and then all the scam spells is still completely intact. You just have to find different ways to kill creatures without Fury. This disappointing half measure to answer this thing. On to the next round. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. You can also find Jeremy co-hosting episodes 106 and 109 of the Tech Talk series with Keith Shaw on the Tech Talk YouTube channel. Head over to Tech Talk and don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube channel for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the play in round 4. I have 2 mana and a handful of 3 and 4 drops. I think I have to keep this and have faith in the deck. I do interact with an early Ragavan or whatever, and then just gotta hope that the 3rd land shows up before it's too late. This Fable fixes every problem in the world if it resolves. A Forest and an Elvish Mystic. I don't know what they're up to. I haven't seen Elvish Mystic in this format in a long time. Rock and Triumph is the nuts. I get to just curve out on my removal, and then that's also land number 3. Bang. Okay, Fable's gonna happen. Unless I get Thoughtseized. Ooh, black mana confirmed. Elvish War Master. Actual elves is the plan over there. Okay. Is it weird if I'm rooting for my opponent? Am I not allowed to do that? I'll root for them after I get a win on the board. So after my whole speech about how banning Fury was a half measure to control scam, banning Fury does unlock elves, humans, like those sort of decks back into the format. But I think they're still bad. Like, I don't know if you've looked at Yawgmoth in your life, but you still can't really play a creature deck. But, like, imagine this same start into Fury. You just lose. You 2 to Archdruid, 2 to this. It loses the buff, then it dies. Okay, I'm going to loot away at least one of the rings. And do I want to ship the Blood Sun, or do I want that to happen turns off Nurturing Peatland, and I imagine this deck might have some fetches in it. Like, everything I see is not a fetch land. I'm actually just going to dump 2 rings. Okay. And I have to attack to get the treasure. Oh, sick. I can Solitude the Archdruid after they block. Doesn't have Death Touch, does it? Too late now. I've already committed. Yeah, hit the Archdruid, which is something that needs to die anyway. That'll cut like 1,000,000 mana off them. Then I also win the combat. Then I play the 1 ring. That was a good find. Shablamo. Still have a land drop here. And there it is. Okay, that was a pretty good turn, all things considered. I have the ring pumping. Another War Master. This is going to get super wide on me very quick. Yeah, that's a lot of elf warriors. I am a deck that contains some number of Supreme Verdict, though. Fingers are crossed on that. Fable, flip the first one, draw 2 with the ring. I can lose focus here. I think I Blood Sun first. Red, 1, 2. In case I hit the field, which I didn't, but I can play Sacred Foundry without getting hurt. This trades if they block it. If they want to double block and take 2 elves off the board, that's fine too. All right, we got through. And making that attack gets me 1 extra pip on lose focus. War Master costs 7 to activate. That's a lot. They're not really close to that. I will counter this. And they only have 1 mana up, so I don't even have to use my treasure. That's a Lord that unlocks the War Master next turn. I hope they play a land after this. Llanowar Elves is going to be 2 more Elf Warrior tokens. They should attack with these War Masters, I think. I mean, I don't know what's in their hand, but I think trading that with a active Reflection is a good deal. 2 of my Solitudes are gone already. Wandering Emperor rips pretty hard. Teferi sucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I can play my other Fable. 1, 2, 3. And I think this Reflection is better on defense. Is that possibly true? I don't think so. I'm going to copy this now and attack with 2. And I get 2 treasures, so I can still Wandering Emperor. They also might have some number of fetch lands in their hand or where they could draw them. I'm at 14 life. They have a 2/2 and an unknown secret Wandering Emperor available. Oh, their Blooming March just gave me to play untapped as their 4th land. Blood Sun betrayed me. Ooh, this is good for a lot of damage. Okay. Well, ouch. I might die here. Shaman of the Pack, what's up? I can't count this high, but I hope they don't have 14 elves. They have a lot of elves. Leaf Crown, Visionary. They have a Lord. All right, well, I'm certainly dead now. I think I was dead already, but definitely now. All right, sweet game. I'm always rooting for elves a little bit. I would like a win on the board, though, at some point in this game, or some point in this league. Extra removal, Tail's End now that I've seen Shaman of the Pack. Gotta imagine Cavern of Souls in this deck, too. Blood Sun's really good against that. If the Cavern's already in play, Blood Sun doesn't do anything, but if they play a Cavern, they don't get to name a creature type, and they just have a colorless land. Teferi sucks. I drew it, didn't even want to play it. You get like some options on instant speed Supreme Verdicts, but I don't think you actually need to do that to win. If you draw Supreme Verdict, you just cast it. I could shave a Blood Sun here. I think just all my spells are really good. Yep, that makes sense to me. The Dress Down's great. Lose Focus is great. Well, there's Verdict and 2 lands. I'll keep basically the same hand as last game, where if I find land number 3, we're cooking. Except I have the Verdict this time, where if I had a Verdict last game, I would have won easily. Opponent mulled to 4. Wow. It's not like they're playing Belcher or anything. That's a pretty unlucky mulligan when you just want, like, some dorks and mana to cast them as a strategy. Nettle Sentinel. Okay. Come on, land number 3. Sick. Okay, I'm going to get the Fable on time. I hope I get big counter this turn. Like, if I can get a Leaf Crown Visionary, or even take a Llanowar Elf, because that's also kind of a Stone Rain. Whatever spell they have, they're going to cast second main because of the Sentinel. It only untaps when you cast spells. Okay. They either played around a counter spell or just don't have one anyway. Ooh. I'm going to take the turn off to kill the thing they do have and then counter the next thing. I think this is worth doing. Oh, did I get got by Legolas's quick reflexes? Oh no, alright. Heroic Intervention. What a weird card. Alright, that's fine. Hexproof, I'm not even going to counter that, I don't care. I'll get that Nettle Sentinel in the Supreme Verdict later. Yavimaya, sick. Now I can Prismatic Ending for 4. I'm playing Archdruid, Nettle Sentinel. They're playing around my counter spells, they're a genius. 1 card left in hand though. Alright, I have 2 verdicts. It's time to commit my Dingus to play. I don't know what 1 card I can lose to from this spot. I'm getting paid out big by the small to 4. Obviously your opponent mulling to 4 is good, but I feel like their hand has beautifully played against mine. And if they weren't so low on cards, I would be in a ton of hurt. Elvish Mystic. Okay. Do they keep 2 Heroic Interventions? Please play a spell. Yikes. Right, there's kind of a land. I'm going to discard Lose Focus and one of the rings. Alright, and then I'll attack with my Goblin Shaman. Okay, they're willing to trade here. That means they don't have a Heroic Intervention. That's cool. I think I'm going to play this Sacred Foundry tapped and just walk them into a Wandering Emperor off my treasure. They do have 4 mana and cards in hand if they're a Collected Company deck that could do something here. I actually think making the 2/2 and blocking is better. I don't care about 2 life, but having a 2/2 kills the Mystic now and blocks the Sentinel later. And doesn't get blown out by Heroic Intervention. Alright, here's a spell. They did have 2 of them. Played around it. Sick. Feeling good about that sequence. Bloodsun has arrived. And I'll start by just attacking for 2. See what they want to do about that. Basically, you don't have to do anything else this game. They're hellbent. I have more and larger creatures than them. I got the 1 ring cranking. Draw a card. Fire Ice. Okay, that's good against elves. Alright, as long as I don't get clowned by some burn spell, if I manage my life total between the 1 ring and keeping their elf count low for Shaman of the Pack, and just make sure I don't get caught by some mess. Ooh, Realm Walker. That's the type of thing that could get them back in the game. They could cast elves off the top of their deck. Another Fable. I'm going to draw 2. There's Big Teferi. +1 counter on a Samurai token. +1/+1 first strike Vig. I'm going to exile Nettle Sentinel before combat. Yeah, if they take the obvious block, they just lose their whole board. Which is what I was going for. Fire this and this. Cool. And pass the turn. So I have to make sure I don't die to my ring. 3 mana in the pool. They are going to shaman me for 1 here. End step, copy my Samurai. I'll have it for my whole turn. I lose 2 life. Oh, Lotus Field's nice. I'm going to draw 3. Worst case scenario, Big Teferi can tuck that. 1, 2, 3. Bloodsun. Draw a card. Play the Lotus Field. And +1/+1, the other Samurai. Just going to attack with everything. Or, nah, Reflection's too good. Can I actually lose? Is the question. I think with Solitude in my hand, I go to 3 in my next upkeep. If they play a Shaman, I can Solitude one of them. I can actually Solitude both of them because I have Fable up. Alright. White, blue, blue, Teferi. Plus Teferi. Cool, now I can counter the trigger. Oh, whoops. I did put a counter on a Samurai token that was going away. My bad. Discard Sacred Foundry. Llanowar Elves. End of turn. Copy the Samurai. I can just go to my turn and gain 1,000,000 life with Solitude here. I could have pitchcast Solitude and then stifled it in and then also copied it. But I don't think doing that is necessary. I'd rather just have it stable and forever. Draw with Teferi. I gain the 3 life I just lost and they're in top deck mode. I can stifle a new creature. I get to untap 2 in the end step, so I'll make another Fable here. I'm not going to tap my ring. I don't need the cards, and I don't want to risk anything. Okay, I don't know how I could ever lose here. Famous last words, though. Okay. They didn't figure out how I lose there. And I didn't have to reveal the Tail's End or the Supreme Verdict. I had both Supreme Verdicts in my hand at the end of that game. That's how you know you were doing okay. That Heroic Intervention is spicy. If I have Teferi in my deck, they can't Heroic Intervention to save their creatures. That just shuts off the whole instant line of their deck. I still think it's just wrong to play around that. I could turn like 2 Valakut Awakenings into 2 Teferis, but those are, I think, missing my land drops and then pulling ahead is how I really lose this game. Yeah, whatever. I'm going in. I have so much removal here. I will try to play like that last game where they just have to pick inopportune 1-for-1 spots to Heroic Intervention. Okay, handful of removal. Run it. I'll have to look it up if it comes up, but it's possible that Dress Down beats Heroic Intervention. I'm not going to pause to read the cards after having already timed out once this league. But if Heroic Intervention gives all your creatures indestructible and hexproof, then you could Dress Down to remove it afterwards. I think it's just layers. Leaf Crown Visionary, that's whenever you cast an elf spell, you could draw a card. All right, that's pretty strong. Lotus Field, hello. Okay, I could get this Leaf Crown Visionary lost right now. I think that's just what I want to do. Because the ability being on cast is kind of a beating. Even if I counter the spell, they still can draw a card, and that's how they pull ahead of me. Giving them map tokens isn't exactly inspiring, but it's okay. I'll figure it out. War Master. And they're mapping onto it. They hit Nettle Sentinel, which they decided to keep. Okay. I'm going to play Valakut Stoneforge tapped, because next turn I can Blood Sun straight into Lotus Field. Fire Ice is an effective magic card. If they try to map onto their Nettle Sentinel, I can fizzle the map by killing it. Sick. Fire this. Card advantage. You give them the map, then you stuff it when they try to use it. They are ahead on board, and I have to stabilize somehow. But I'm about to get into the Lotus Field phase of the game. Blood Sun. Lotus Field. There's a Solitude, and I can lose focus for 4 mana when they only have 3. Elvish War Master is ETB, not cast, unlike the other one. Not in my house. Cast with Replicate, just for good measure. I think this Solitude will get it done next turn. If I find like anything that can add to the Solitude, oh, another Lotus Field, perhaps. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I am gonna test my rules knowledge here and hope that Dress Down allows Solitude to defeat Heroic Intervention. Realm Walker. I think I just want to Solitude the War Master now. I've kind of revealed that I have something, but all right, no, I'm actually more worried about the Realm Walker, I think. The War Master is just making 1/1s right now. And if they start actually drawing cards, that's so much worse. Let's see if they even attack, because I just telegraphed the Solitude so hard. No. I should not have tapped my mana. Should have thought about it first. It's okay. I'm still just going to immediately snap off Solitude into this Realm Walker. I didn't put Kahira in my hand last turn because I wanted to Dress Down if I needed to. But now I can put Kahira in my hand. They would have to lose their War Leader if they want to remove the Solitude here. Inspiring Vantage has no abilities. White. Kahira, I have a 4/3 Vigilance. Do you want to lose your only engine to remove my Solitude? And the answer is no. That's good news for me. Collected Company. I will Dress Down in response to that, just in case. Otawara. Okay, that's a relief. That interacts with the board. Collected Company confirmed, by the way. I really don't like my spot right now. If they find, like, Realm Walker or Arch Druid here, they could start burying me, but they don't get to name... Oh, yeah, sick. Yeah, they didn't get to name a creature type, so that Realm Walker is actually just a 2/3 elf. But I did just deny them a lot of value with that Dress Down. Okay, deck, can I find some sort of advantage engine like the One Ring right now? Bang. Right off the tippity top. Make it happen. Make it so, deck. Sacred Foundry just comes right in. Now I actually don't have a good attack with Solitude, because if they double block with, like, Realm Walker is just a big pile of stats. That lines up well against Solitude. I could use the Otawara to break it up and get a good combat trade. Maybe I should have been more aggro with the Otawara. But now that I'm ringing, I'm just worried about less. If they have, like, Collector Oof or Karn the Great Creator or something that shuts down the One Ring. I think I'd rather interact with that with Otawara. Yeah, they don't have good attacks here. And it's time for the ring to do awful ring things to my opponent. Solitude number 2 has arrived. Red, 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 Blood Sun number 2. Plains. Now I can do whatever I want. I am going to attack with Solitude because I could Solitude a blocker. Yeah. They don't even want to fuck around with that. They're like, nah, you can have it. I can Tails End a powerful triggered or activated ability. Elvish Archdruid. Okay. I'm worried about that one, not anything else. So if I'm going to Solitude this turn, it's going to target that. The Realm Walker's getting in. All right, I'm going to Solitude, targeting the Lord. I can no longer interact with the protection spell, so it just doesn't matter how I time this or anything. Okay, I've answered that. And I'm going to block and just eat it. Ooh, that was nasty. Also a bunch of life for my ring. I've already drawn 3 cards with the ring and I'm still at 20. Let's have some more. There's Big Tef. Gonna be hard to lose this game. White, 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 blue, colorless. Big Tef. Draw. Sacred Foundry. Red, white, blue. Blue matters less than the other colors here. I'm gonna Prismatic Ending the bigger War Leader right now. And then attack with my Solitudes. And if they try any double or triple or blocks, Fire's just going to shred them. Yeah, they're not even bothering. And end of turn, I'll just untap some lands and pass with millions of interaction spells up. And I have so much mana, I could even Valakut Awakening the extra lands, draw 3, see what's going on. Elvish Warmaster, it's fine. I know, whatever. It's going to slow me down, but I think this victory is inevitable if I don't mess up by using my interaction on the wrong stuff. I'm going to stifle this. So excited. Blam. Not in my house. Yeah, I'm just going to go to my turn. Ring triggers. I'm at 28 somehow. Solitude going nuts. Hira giving him Vig is so busted. Another ring, a Get Lost. Plus Teferi. A Lotus Field. Blat. Just pop that into play. I'm going to Awaken Valakut here. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards I don't need. This is a draw 5. Prismatic Ending, Fable. Okay. Life is good. Exile one of these War Masters. Play another Fable. I want to get the Shaman Lost because that's the one that can trade with a Solitude. Attack with my Solitudes. Fire Ice ready to wreak havoc if they try to set up any blocks. Or if they don't block. Okay, yeah, they just gave up. They're like, yeah, I have 8 creatures in play, but I'm not going to even jump block. Nice. All right, we're on the board. That felt awesome. On to the final round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I am on the play in the final round. I have land drops to make, interaction up the curve, and the One Ring. We got a hi YouTube. Everyone say hi to Rogue Strix 254. And I'm going to keep my hand. And I believe I can get this Sacred Foundry in for freezies here. A breeding pool. It's a dirty rhinoceros gamer. Shocked it in, which is shocking to me. Oh, we're doing this. I see. Okay. Well, my hand does not line up well against Living End. I guess what I have to do is ice their land at the start of their next turn, try to get into the One Ring, and then as long as they can't grief me on their combo turn, then Supreme Verdict can mop up. This is my plan. I don't know if it's a good one. It's going to have to work. That's all I got. Troll of Khazad-dûm. I know they have land number 3. It's Watergrave. And Curator of Mysteries in the bin. Ice the green mana. Cycling Street Wraith in response. And cycling Architects of Will in response. All right. It wasn't about denying them mana on just anything. It's about denying them mana on a Cascade spell. Okay, if I can resolve the One Ring here, I'm going to feel pretty great. Oh, wow. Dress down is so competitive, too. What a dirty trick. Because if I can dress down all the griefs and shit that come into play. All right, I'm going to slam the ring and hope they don't force a negation it. There's mana in the pool. I hate this. Let it resolve, let it resolve, let it resolve. Oh no, more cycling. Stop, stop. Resolves, resolves, resolves. Oh. Okay. Now I need them not to grief me. Land number 4. Okay, we're going in the upkeep, and there's no grief in the spot. This is just going to be a nice little Supreme Verdict for the road. Yeah, there's nothing in their graveyard that disrupts my Supreme Verdict. They can mess with the top 3 cards in my deck. Okay, Skated past, a second Force of Negation. Yeah, I'm just going to Verdict this. They can just go again on their next Cascade spell. But if I play One Ring right now and it gets countered, then I'm dead. Okay, put all those back in the graveyard, at least temporarily. Lotus Field is going to sack Ottawa and Flagstones. And I'm going to tutor for Rock and Triome. I just want my mana to be good. Now I'm in danger, though, because that was just a temporary reprieve. I have not actually stopped them from going off again. The next one might even be bigger. I only have one more Supreme Verdict in my deck. Yeah, they're just right back in here. They revealed 2 more Force Negation, so they don't have Force Negation in their hand. Oh no, they just cycled an Ent, which shuffles the deck. 1, 2, and they used 1. That could be the same one I saw in the last Cascade. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. One Ring. Can I have this, please? Nope. Get wrecked me. Well, I was right to Supreme Verdict last turn. And this is Omega Lethal. Okay. Yeah, Supreme Verdict is... It's basically a counterspell against their deck. It's not even that powerful. I'm going to bring in all my graveyard hate and my spell cascade hate. Teferi, small Teferi is great. Big Teferi is necessary to my deck's functioning. I don't need all the Blood Suns in. Prismatic Ending does little to nothing. I can get tempo plays with the Fire Ice like we saw that game, but I don't actually think those are good. It's just like, it was there, and I'm trying to be alive. And I do need to leave some amount of removal in, like the Wandering Emperor and Solitude, because this deck can, like, if I shut down their graveyard, this deck can pivot into the limited, like, sealed deck phase of the game, where they just start playing 5 mana 5/5s and 6 mana 6/6s. I'm keeping this hand that does the thing my deck does and has a Chalice. I'm just running this out now before they can grief it. It gives them more turns to plan around it with a Force of Vigor or a Brazen Borrower, but it's they can't take it from my hand, which is important to me. Just decide what you're playing around here. And it's not like playing it later plays around those other things. They just like have it later. Okay. Add Force of Vigor immediately. Can I have a Rest in Peace? Can we get it? Nope. Actually in a super awkward spot because that the Valakut Stoneforge does not cast Dovin's Veto. They have their second land available. Cycling Architects. If I had drawn a blue land, I would have left it up here, but I'm going to have to go for Lotus Field. And just, if they pop, they pop. Grab a Triome. Just make sure my colors are good. And pass the turn. Don't kill me, please. Yeah, they already have Architects in the graveyard, which can mess up my next 3 draws. If they have a Grief and can strip my One Ring, then they just put me to help end and mess up my next several draws. Okay. It's just Architects and Riverwinder, which might seem silly to say just those, because that's a lot of stuff, but it could be worse. I'm 1 mana short of protecting my One Ring with Dovin's Veto. I could Fable and protect it with Veto this turn. Oh, that's great. Now I can do that without even hurting myself. Yeah, white-blue. I think playing around the tempo counterspells in their deck is worth doing at this phase. This is 11 damage. I would go to 9 if I don't block. And I get the card selection of chucking the Sacred Foundry if it's no good. I'm going to go to 9. I know that is long-term pain over my ring, which is how I need to win this game. But it's the position I'm in. What do you want from me? Okay, I can ring plus veto off of the treasure, and I would like to play Lotus Field this turn. I think I dump a veto and a foundry and try to get 2 cards here, because I have to answer the board at this point. I can't just play from my hand. I got the treasure. That's good. Let's hope they don't have 2 counter spells for this ring. And Teferi's a sicko follow-up next turn. Okay, I'm in there on the ring. I'll draw a card. Supreme Verdict, hello. All right, float a blue, play Lotus Field, sack the other 2 lands. Okay, I'm pretty close to stability here. Cycling Generous Ent. They can't grief me this turn because I have protection. They're not pushing damage through. I guess they could play Bone Crusher Giant and stomp on their own face here to win. But I have not seen that tech in the deck before. Draw for turn. Teferi, number 2. 3/6/7 mana. If I attack, it's 8. That's Teferi, and Dovin's Veto. And also draw first, see where that gets me. Gets me to Chalice and Spirebluff Canal. That's nice. Okay, Canal is mana. I'm going to attack with Goblin Shaman, because if my plan works, there won't be any creatures in play at the end of the turn anyway. I think they saw this Chalice off of the earlier action. Let's see if I can fade out a counter spell here. 9 mana available. That's 3, 7, 8, 9. That's exactly enough to protect a Teferi and then also Supreme Verdict. A white, blue Teferi. This one is not optional to fight over. It's now or never. Subtlety, pitching Shardless Agent. Okay. I cannot Dovin's Veto that. I will put Teferi on top of my deck. I'd like that again next turn. And I could just Verdict now. Hold up Veto. I think that's a good use of my mana here. Oh, wait, I can't because I have a white floating. I would need a blue floating. I didn't map that out very well. If I play the other Teferi, I can bounce in Architects, Chump Block, Stripe Riverwinder. Teferi dies. Could also just not hold up Veto. That sounds bad, though. Okay, I'm going back in on a second Teferi. That one resolved. I would like to bounce the Architects. I drew the other Teferi. I can use that to bounce the other Architects, Chump Block, Stripe Riverwinder for a turn, and then I have Teferi and Chalice blocking out their business. Right, cycling the first Architects in response. I mean, this is just like card selection for them. It's kind of a tough beat, but I'm trying to be alive here. I lose to Boseiju. If they just kill Reflection, yeah, they're going face correctly. Block. Must happen. And that is 2 of my answers to my own ring now gone. Casting Architects. This is the draft phase of the game that I was talking about, where now they just like play low rate creatures for their mana value. And I have to have a plan against that too. I go to 6 here. If I draw, next turn I'm at 3. Well, I mean, it's not getting better if I don't draw my cards. Plus Teferi. That was a huge brick. Yeah, that's really bad. I'm going to go to 3. I have to Supreme Verdict at instant speed on their turn. And I go 1, 2, 3, grab the Kahira. I can Supreme Verdict off white with the Supreme Verdict, or with the Lotus Field. Play Flagstones. Pass, discarding Firebluff Canal, I guess. Okay, they're going to attack. I'm going to Supreme Verdict. I'm going to go to 3, and then I'm going to draw a million cards and hope that one of them can answer my own ring. Generous Ent cycled. Getting a breeding pool. Playing it tapped. Okay. All right, deck. How about don't kill me? All right, well, I'm going to survive at least one more turn. Tails End counters the ring trigger. Rest in peace. Well, a good thing, too, because I didn't find another answer to it. Plus, rest in peace. Goodbye to your cards. Red. Fable. Oh, I was supposed to float, use my Lotus Field, because now I don't get a Flagstone's trigger. Whoops. All right, it's fine. I'll have to figure this out another way. All right, whatever. I just don't get a Flagstone's trigger. Minor Spew. And pass the turn. Discard. Might need the Seachrome Coast. Yeah, I don't need the 4th Lotus Field. I can counter a spell they play, counter my ring trigger. Force of Vigor. I will lose focus on that with Replicate. It's a powerful Force of Vigor, though, taking out 2 important permanents. Okay, if my ring doesn't get me there this turn, counter that. And I should probably ring now in case this floating mana is useful somehow. We got a all caps nice in the chat. Fuck yeah, we're solving it out here. All right, I could Valakut Awakening still. I have not found an answer to my ring yet. I think this actually does make sense to do. Red, Awaken with blue floating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let me draw 7 new cards here. Any order. Now we're cooking. All right, got there. And still don't have a use for this 1 mana. I'll draw for turn. I can loot too. This is so sick. Get rid of the Steam Vents and the... I don't think I need Otawara. Otawara is my untapped pain-free land, though. I do need Otawara. Okay, to get rid of Otawara and this backup Fable. Attack with Goblin Shaman. And then... Oh, they can't force a negation because I have Teferi. Okay. Plus this Teferi. Play my Triome tapped. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, new ring, Udis. Bang. And we're safe and stable. Discard this basic plains. And this Valakut Awakening. Okay. Curator of Mysteries, that's fine. The Solitudes are on board now. I'm not going to tap my ring. I don't need to. Flip the Fable. And now we just go straight to the head with big Teferi. Draw a card with this. Play the Otawara. Because that lets me... Oh, I could do it anyway. Solitude right now. Exile a Curator. We got the GGs in the chat. Isn't there the game 3? Yeah, all right. Game 3 still coming. That was a great game, though. Okay, now I got to get one on the draw. I believe my deck and my plan are still my deck and my plan. Let's do it. Okay, 2 Teferis. Might be too slow. I mean, Solitude is nice, though. I am going to keep this. Uh-oh. Well, they have the Grief this game. This is a card I've been worried about for the entire set so far. I can actually Solitude their Grief now, and then I'll have a Solitude in the graveyard, and they won't have a Grief. That is some minor padding. However, it does guarantee I lose both Teferis on the spot. I think this is worth doing. I'm going to Solitude their Grief. Investing in the future here. They pitched a Living End to the Grief. I have seen the technology of a 4th Living End for grindy matchups. In the past, the deck's only played 3. Sacred Foundry tapped. And they know the shields are down, though. Rest in Peace is my best draw right now. Chalice also plays. Ooh, a tap land. They didn't even cycle a monster. They found one, suddenly. Overgrown Tomb. Rest in Peace? No, Rest in Peace. Okay. I will make them think about a counterspell now. I have 1 unknown card in my hand. But by playing my blue land and giving up information, I hope they have to think about Dovin's Veto. They also don't currently win if they Living End, because my Solitude eats their Generous Scent, then Solitude races Street Wraith. They're not even in there. Okay, Inspiring Vantage, and I'm going to send the Blood Sun. It's a cantrip. It turns on this Lotus Field. I like what's going on here, if we can make it happen. And if they spend a Force of Negation on this, fine. Something's happening. Force of Negation. You got me. Okay, land number 4. Now they can cycle a 1 mana cycler and do escape stuff. All on the same turn. Obviously, I ripped the second Blood Sun. Easy, GG. And Dovin's Veto. Okay. Can we make it happen on short notice here? This land does not cast Dovin's Veto. I'm just going to grab Kahira. Just going to be honest that I don't have Lose Focus. But like I said, Living End does not beat me here. No, as far as like pretty safe goes, we're in a good spot. They did find a 1 mana cycler. They will win the race if they cast Living End right now and nothing else happens for the rest of the game. Which is not a good bet, because my deck's full of interaction. And if I untap, I'm going to have Veto up. Oh yeah, we're in business. Got all sorts of shit going on now. Flagstones of Trocare, which does not have its other ability, just worth noting. And let's cast this Kahira. Gotta start the pressure somehow. And I might as well do it on a turn where they can't hardcast Subtlety. Ooh, we're outbursting. I would like to counter this, actually. Blue, white. That's 2 living ends gone. They tapped a bunch of mana, then untapped their mana. I wonder what that means. I'm going to attack with Kahira. If they want to, like, trade it for Subtlety, I don't even care. Okay, cool. I think this Triome is better as a cycle than it is as a Triome. Like, the 2 lands in my hand are also spells here. They did have a down and dirty, nasty little Subtlety. Okay, that's fine. Glad I held on to my Emperor in that case. I am still winning this race. My creature has Vigilance, and yours does not. Not that it matters, because yours has Flying. Griefing me. Okay, I will respond with the Wandering Emperor. Yeah, they have to force a negation here, and then Grief will miss. So this is a 3-for-1 exchange, which I'm pretty happy with, all things considered. I would have rather had a Wandering Emperor in play, but that just didn't do much on the board, and I get to cycle now. Kept that one in the bank. I would normally Legend Rule these Flagstones, but they don't currently have any other abilities. So I'm not going to play it. They still get Legended, but they don't do anything else. Opponent's got 1 card in their hand, and then they just drew another one. They're committed to the beatdowns. I'm not going to auto-wire the Subtlety just yet. Foundation Breaker. Okay. That's a creature that dies to Fire Ice. And them removing my Blood Sun means that, alright, it unlocks that fetch land for them, but it also means I can Legend Rule. And I'm just going to fire this thing. That does put it in the graveyard for the next living end, but I'm just going to hope I can cause some trouble before then. Fable, always a welcome draw, and now I'm not going to Legend Rule this Flagstones. It's much better as a loot than it is as a random planes from my deck. Well, not random, but, you know, selected planes from my deck. I'd rather have a random card than a chosen planes, is what I'm trying to spit out here. So that is a huge target if they draw a Cascader this turn for that Foundation Breaker. Oh, they drew a land. That's so good for me. Ooh, that was a big turn for them to brick. Solitude, what's up? I don't think I need the Ottawa anymore. I would like to just seal up the game plan that I have going on here. And their hand is empty right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could just dump out my whole hand and bet against the top of their deck. But they are a deck with insane top decks. And their graveyard's so stacked that there is no reason not to just fully commit here. I am going to use my treasure instead of my life total to cast this second Fable. Okay, fingers crossed. I get a singular Solitude back if they find a Cascade here. If they don't, I probably win. Fingers crossed, don't do me like this. Don't do it. And we got the GGs. Woo. That was a tough one at the end there. Okay. This deck, a 2-3 record. However, I did time out in a game that I was certainly going to win against Tron. So, I mean, do what you want with that information. The Scam matchup felt completely unwinnable, honestly. Ironically, Scam is a matchup that was helped drastically when this deck had access to Fury, because you could sweep up their early shit easier. However, now we have to go 1-for-1 with honest removal spells, which is probably healthier for the format, but I can't wait until we don't have to play against Grief anymore. I feel like that's only a matter of time. This was a delight to play, though. I'm honestly not entirely convinced that if you want to play Jeskai Control, doing the Lotus Field Blood Sun thing is even better than just having fetch lands and dual lands in your deck. Blood Sun, like, killed an Urza Saga once and stranded a fetch land in an opponent's hand for a couple turns once. It did let me drop a 3-mana land with no strings attached into play a lot. Though, if I didn't have to spend 3 mana on the Blood Sun, and if this was just, like, Blooded Strand, I would have more spells in my deck, and then maybe I wouldn't need the jump of mana to start paying things out. I don't know, like, that's just a deck building decision. I don't know if it's good or bad. Really, selecting this deck depends on your opponent's playing into Blood Sun some amount. If your metagame's full of Urza Sagas, Blood Sun's great. If people are doing stuff like elves with no fetch lands or whatever, you're probably better just being a normal Jeskai control deck. But I'm not really here to litigate that. This was fun. I do love honest Magic. All of our games, well, other than the scam match, all of our matches were good. And we got a lot of Magic on camera, a lot of fun decisions to make here. Sweet Deck Disparity, thank you for sharing it with us. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon and all the sponsors, and I'll see you next time.